Yeah, when you call people Hitler, your supporters are going to demand an anti-Hitler level response. And that leads to this next portion where they ask Chuck Schumer, exactly what do you plan to do if Trump defies the courts? And of course, Chuck Schumer has no answer for them.
The leader in question, that is actually what people are debating right now. There are people in your party who don't want you to be a leader in the party anymore. And it's a question of what is this moment and what does it require? I want to ask a question about that moment involving the Venezuelan deportations and the court hearings around it. Put the charges or lack of evidence or whatever against these men aside for now, and let's just talk about the interaction of the Trump administration and the court.
Yes.
They seem to take the position that this court doesn't have jurisdiction over them, and you have Tom Homan saying he doesn't care what the judge thinks. What did Democrats do if and when the Trump administration defies a federal judge?
First of all, we have to have rule of law. People say, well, that's not me. If we get rid of rule of law, a 248-year tradition in America, this democracy is over, okay? So it's vital to stop it. There are two courts.
How do the Democrats do that?
There are two courts. One is the court of public opinion. And the public has to make, if this happens, they have to make their voices known, Democrats, Republicans, everyone, in the strongest terms, because it's ending our democracy. Now, but we also have the courts. And so far, the lower courts have done a good job. We hope the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court will do the same job. When the lower courts, and I'm very proud that we put in all those judges last year, many of whom are making these decisions, when the lower courts thus far have said to the Trump administration, you must stop, in most cases they have.
But you hear the Trump administration saying we're not going to pay attention to the court.
If they don't, and we go to the Supreme Court and it is defied, democracy is at real risk, and there will have to be extraordinary action taken.
Now, that was a long clip, and there's a couple of things to analyze. First and foremost, him saying it requires an extraordinary response is implying that the Democrats might have to take some sort of drastic action because they've depicted the environment as desperate times call for desperate measures. And because Donald Trump hasn't done anything wrong, they're just sore losers and power hungry, they're not ready to meet the moment that they've created. And the Democrats created this self-inflicted virus within their own party where they rallied so hard against Donald Trump and not what's best for America that they actively have their politicians and their base arguing in favor of illegal gang members. They've created this scenario where Donald Trump is Hitler, so therefore they can't agree with anything that Hitler does, which is causing them to take the most unpopular side of every single issue, and they wonder why their approval rating week after week is at a new record low. There are people who are going to hear the Democrats say they're cutting Social Security, they're cutting Medicaid, they're cutting Medicare, and they think their life is on the brink of collapse. They think they could be homeless. They think there's no way that they can pay to sustain themselves because you guys as the Democrats have told them that. And when they don't see you fighting back in the appropriate manner that they expect, you guys are now annoyed with them.